How you doing?
Yeah, that wasn't quite on sync, but
It works.
just go with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's up? So this is the first ever Seen It podcast. That's a name I took off of a website, but I thought it sounded cool. So first episode of this podcast that we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're right now gonna. We just saw The Flash yesterday, and it was a movie that I had been thinking about talking about for a while because it was a movie we were kind of hyped about, but also like naturally there's going to be a lot of things to talk about, so that's what we're doing. And so yeah, I guess you can introduce yourselves. Just say hi.
Hey, my name is Andy Rather, the host of Rather Testify, a podcast where I interview people from around the world.
And my name is Busty Toast. I have a YouTube channel called Busty Toast, and I just create Let's Plays on mostly story mode games, and that's really about it. And I work with these hooligans.
Yep.
Yeah, he's honestly a pain.
Yeah. All right. So I guess just to start off just general thoughts, like I guess I should say too that we are going to include spoilers in this video. So haven't seen it yet, then don't watch it or come back later.
Spoiler warning.
Right. Yeah.
You might want to.
Yeah. So generally speaking, Busty Toast, what did you think of the movie?
Well, coming from like obviously seeing all the other movies that we've seen, I honestly thought it wasn't all really that bad of a movie. I really did actually enjoy some of the moments. There were a few moments I was like thinking, okay, why was that in place there? I felt like some of the cameos also in the movie were kind of, forced in, like what I feel like Wonder Woman's was, and the kind of like the Superman ones was as well.
No.
Towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. Just like want to save that till later. So
Yeah.
Right.
we'll just like we'll get there.
But all in all, it was not a bad movie. It's just obviously like it had its funny moments. I mean, I loved Barry from the other universe. I mean, he was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly agree with that. One of my bigger complaints about the film isn't actually the cameos. It's actually past Barry. Like, I honestly found him like really annoying. I'm not sure if that was the point or something, but he really got on my nerves, like with that dumb laugh, especially when he was with his roommates and everything.
Like right. I mean, I guess that
like
you could say
they're all high or drunk, which honestly makes sense for college students, to be honest.
right. But I mean, I guess that they put him back into a time like where he was, that freshman in college, like teenager, where he's always like, dude, whatever. Like I guess they put him in that type of universe when he went back, I guess.
I mean, I think he was supposed to be annoying. That's kind of how I saw it. Like, I think one of the things I remember hearing from some people was that Barry was somewhat of an annoying character to lead a solo movie, but I don't know if I was bothered by that. Like actually, the first thing I'm gonna say, so going in, like the marketing really heavily set up that this is basically a Batman movie, basically.
Right, because there's Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton's Batman in the same movie.
They like heavily like showed that as if that's why they wanted you to see it. So it made me think, is this gonna be more of a Batman movie than a Flash movie? I came out thinking, no, I'd say it's still a Flash movie. Like, I'd still say it's a movie about Barry Allen.
Honestly, though, can you really blame them for the marketing strategy? I mean, just to get this out of the way, the Ezra Miller controversy that happened months before the trailer even came out, like that controversy, like I'm glad that he's getting help that he needs, but like that whole situation just made the film worse. In fact, if this film does and do great, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not doing that well as far as I know. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, so far it's not been doing well in terms of like the box office, like sales, at least in the opening weekend, it didn't do very well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it on yesterday, and the theater wasn't that full. Even in IMAX, it wasn't filled to the brim, unlike with Mario and Across the Spider Verse.
Right.
Those are packed.
Because I feel like probably what if the whole controversy with Ezra Miller probably didn't happen, I bet you there probably the opening weekend probably would have been a lot better.
It would have, yeah.
Probably.
It's like James Gunn was definitely like hyping it up. Like, this is gonna be like the movie that's gonna restart the DC universe. It's gonna like have a whole time travel thing. It's gonna restart it. So this is an important movie, guys. Like,
Right.
you gotta see it because of that. So,
Right.
I guess it didn't quite work as well as they hoped.
But it's still the beginning of the reboot era. So once again, we're gonna see a new what is this? The sixth Batman?
I think it might be. I'm not sure. I'd have to count.
I mean, we got Adam West, Michael Keaton, George Clooney. Wait, I skipped over one.
Yeah, Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, and also Robert Pattinson. So that's 7, plus the new Batman for the new DC universe that we're going to be getting.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So since we are talking about Batman, so since we know this is Ben Affleck's last Batman movie, how did you like him?
Honestly, I feel like he probably, I felt like, at least in terms of like the being Batman, like in his universe, I felt like he was like, for screen time, he had his moments, like he needed to be kind of where he needed to be. And then in terms of like Michael Keaton's Batman, he kind of had like, started, I kind of liked his like, character development per se. He started off as this old raggedy Batman, basically living in his house alone, no Alfred, no nothing. And then he kind of started developing back into Batman, all because he's trying to, save the Earth from destruction, which obviously ends up killing him no matter what the Flash tried to do. But I felt like his character, at least at both sides of Batman's, were kind of done pretty well in terms of like character development, time on screen, and like, kind of their and acting in general was kind of pretty good.
Yeah. I guess I was trying to say for Affleck's one and for Batfleck in particular, or just it did make me think that it did make me kind of sad that we only got a few scenes with him in the beginning, but when I thought about his last scene that we saw with like the way he talked to Barry about how he's made mistakes and is going to move past that, like mistakes don't define you. Like, I heard all that, I was like, all right, it's a good place. If that is his last scene, sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like you could definitely see the character arc that he had. Like, even if it wasn't shown, like I kind of wish that they did do like a Batman film that took place before Batman v Superman, because from what we got on the backstory, it was mainly just Zack Snyder talking, like how like Joker ended up killing one of his Robins, Batman going on a rampage that led him to like not knowing when to stop, using excessive violence, which
basically giving a rogue Batman type of feel.
Yeah. So like it's honestly like a nice what could have been a nice character arc. It's really sad that we'll never get to see. Probably actually never get to see Ben Affleck's Batman.
I mean, honestly, I would say the more the problem with that was the fact that Justice League, like the Whedon cut, is the canon version, even though we all like the Snyder cut better, and I didn't really do that much for him. So that's more of a problem for me.
Is that they don't take out like, oh, the bad version. Oh, that's canon. Good version. Yeah, we'll just use that as like, oh, this is an alternate version of what could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Even like the Snyder cut had like a better use of like all the character arcs, mainly Batman, Cyborg, and Flash. Like a lot, like making you believe, like mainly with Batman, like how he became like this is the same Batman from Batman v Superman.
yeah.
Right.
So I guess. But I think we're getting a little off topic.
Yeah.
This is the Flash. We're supposed to talk about the Flash. I
Yeah.
broke my finger.
So I guess just to shift back to Michael Keaton Batman, and I would say I think I was a little annoyed when he first popped up, kind of like retired old man, because I feel like we've seen that way too often
Yeah.
with an old actor coming back to a role, and he's like bitter and old. Like
I feel like No Way Home kind of started it.
it's like Luke Skywalker was like that, and like some of the Ghostbusters were.
To be honest, though, actually, an older, gruffer Batman has actually been seen before in Batman Beyond, which was a animated TV show back in the '90s, I believe, or early 2000s.
I think it was Batman Beyond, and also I think The Dark Knight Returns, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, that
Okay.
also kind of did it.
Okay, I guess.
1 and 2.
So it's not like Batman hasn't gone through this before. It's just we've seen this so many stinking times.
Yeah, I think that's what bothered me personally. Eventually, though, when he gets back and puts on the costume, I feel like from there on out, I was smiling almost the entire time.
Right, because
Like the
gives you all that nostalgia.
yeah, like the costume in the old movies from the Tim Burton movies, like the costume there is good and all that, but it's a little stiff. Like he can't really move very well. He can't even turn his head.
Yet that also kind of gave it a pretty cool look to it.
Yeah, but here it's like they've taken the costume and modernized it a bit. Like that when he's fighting all the Russians, like he actually does look like he's able to move around and kick butt, and it was honestly
Right.
sick.
I mean, it literally looks like some of the like really good action scenes in like the Christian Bale movies, like with his suits.
I compare that a little bit more to in Batman v Superman when Batfleck was fighting all the guys in the
Warehouse?
warehouse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that too.
that was really cool. Oh, and I mean, did you also notice when they're in the elevator and they go up? He was like, he mentioned, how much do you weigh? Like, did you catch that reference?
Uh,
Gosh, I just realized.
Yeah. It's like, obviously, we all noticed, like, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts line. But, like, that was another one that I noticed. And when they're in the Batwing and they fall out, remember that scene in the first movie when the Batwing flies up to the moon? And
Oh yeah.
they, like, did that again in that shot while they're falling down, and you see the Batwing there.
create basically the Batman logo.
Yeah, in front of the moon. Like, that was a nice, like, detail. They didn't, like, force onto you.
Like-
It's kind of like just you.
Like you didn't see the director like, all right, focus all cameras on that moon right now.
Right. Yeah. Like,
And I also kind of like, speaking of like Michael Keaton's Batman, they also I kind of like when they also added his theme into certain scenes, like that their Batman theme into it. Like it was kind of cool seeing hearing.
Theme.
yeah. It's like, I like Spider-Man No Way Home and all that, but honestly, maybe one of my only complaints with that was that
It's that they didn't use their themes really.
yeah, they didn't use the original music enough. That's not really, I still like the movie, but it's still something they could have done better. But this one, like, no, the Danny Elfman Batman theme from the older movies is played all over the place when he's on
Right.
screen.
But I feel like in most of these like DC movies, whenever some character comes on the screen, they mostly play their theme. But especially when it comes to Wonder Woman, I've seen this recently. They always play her theme every single time.
They did it in Shazam too. Yeah.
I feel like they always play her theme, and it's always the same. It's
I mean, I'm not complaining. It's cool.
cool and everything, but if they keep on doing that every time she makes a cameo, it's gonna start getting repetitive.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Like every time, like it might as well be a contract because this is the second movie this year that Wonder Woman made a cameo.
Yeah.
And that's staying in place, so it might as well just be a contract for Gal Gadot that she makes a cameo in every single DC movie, and they just
Right. She's the DCU's version of Stan Lee, basically, at this point.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What did you?
Next.
Yeah. What did you think of Supergirl?
Supergirl, honestly, it was kind of weird how she kind of like it was weird that she she was basically, I'm not sure, in that chamber she was in, she looked horrible.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
not.
the sun, like I'm gonna guess it's like lack of food, sun, because the sun is what boosts a Kryptonian's ability, at least the Earth sun from.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
But it was weird that basically when she's not out of the sun, she's all basically shriveled and almost looks sick and whatever. But yet again, even once she was out of the sun, she still, after she defeated every single guard for the most part, she basically fainted, which was kind of weird. It was like, oh, she finally got her abilities back, and then she's
I
done.
would say that she might be exhausted at that point. Like I wouldn't say like that would be her fault or something. She was
But coming from a Kryptonian, usually I don't think you would probably be tired or anything.
probably.
Yeah.
And then again, she was probably trapped in that for who knows how long. So
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense now that I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the fight scenes too with her, because it's like I'm thinking back to Man of Steel, like how awesome Superman's fight was. Like he was moving so
Right.
fast. Even you would have a hard time telling, oh, he's right there.
Right.
Like, they kind of replicate that here just a bit.
can I just say that I was a bit annoyed when they killed like Superman? Like they said, like the infant didn't make it. Like how cool would it have been if plot twist they got Henry Cavill to or like even a different actor to play a Superman that ended up working for Zod and Kara and
Right. I mean,
have to,
or they could have just used his, or could have like used him, or just like how they like CGI'd everybody, like the old Flashes and the old Supermans and whatever, the old Batmans.
Oh boy.
Like they could have like CGI'd him like on like somebody at least resembles him, and then either he probably could have had like a character arc, like, oh, he got sent off, and then they managed to find him first, and then they take him and use him as a like another like sidekick, or not necessarily sidekick, another like companion with Zod, and him and Supergirl having to face her cousin and like a one-on-one. I mean, that could have been interesting, but I could see what they were trying to do, at least.
Like, actually, something I was thinking about, I think last night, was why did Supergirl lose to Zod while Superman succeeded? I thought about that. It was because Supergirl was like emotionally like torn. Like she just learned her cousin was killed as a baby. So
she was trying to basically go after her, and basically in spitefulness. So she was basically pissed off, and she was taking all her aggression out, which got her killed.
Yeah, but while Superman
being blinded by emotion, like how so many characters do, like Anakin Skywalker being blinded by their emotions.
Yeah. But then you look at Superman and Man of Steel, he was just only focused on saving the people, saving the world. So,
which Supergirl at the start didn't really want to. She was just like, oh, I just got to protect my people. I just got to defeat Zod for the hell, just because I want to.
Like that turn thing, like really fast for a lot of people. Like
I guess it was a little fast, but
like
right.
He leaves younger Barry to like, you don't need. I'm not going to help you because you guys trapped me. And then she goes up, sees Zod, then goes back, helps Barry. I'm gonna help you guys now. Okay, sweet.
I mean, I mean, there was. I mean, I think most of the stuff went around in her head, so I don't know if it bothered me too much. But I mean, I can kind of see that. Yeah.
But I mean, also, I was also like recalling to like the Flash TV series because he was trying to get his powers back, and when I was like thinking, oh god, like because in the Flash TV series, like when they tried to give him his powers back the same way, that basically starting at the particle accelerator, he gets zapped, but instead of him getting his powers back, he basically goes poof. I was like, I am in my mindset when I was like seeing that, I was like, oh god, Flash. I was about to say Barry's probably gonna go, like he's got to disappear, and they're gonna be relying on Kid Flash, but somehow, some way, some way, they're like, oh, he's dead.
Magic go.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, here's Supergirl. She finally has a change of heart. Whoop.
What he
God
said?
struck down.
When he said somehow, my mind jumped to somehow Palpatine returned. just
that weirdness of it.
Yeah, but
It's just,
yeah.
Not that weird, but
No, not nearly as bad. Yeah.
right. Just it's just like, oh, Supergirl finally returns. Oh, sees Barry dead. Oh, she's like, you know what? Might as well. Here you go, Sky. Wish.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then he gets his powers back.
Okay. One of the things I wanted to mention that I've seen, it seems like a lot of reviews are like calling this out, the CGI.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that the CGI looks terrible, but I think the director did come out and say it's kind of supposed to look like that because how fast he's going.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if the CGI bothered me that much, but I will say in that scene where he was like rescuing all the babies in that building, that like those babies are like obviously fake and like it looked really rough.
Tyler, are you suggesting they actually throw down babies
I mean,
from a hospital?
I mean,
crashing
I'm not,
down.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that, but
Like, I know what you mean, but like,
Yeah.
couldn't the babies look a little bit more real?
yeah.
Yeah, they could have at least done the CGI better on that one. But I mean, who are we gonna? I mean, they got a CGI did also looked a little off whenever he was starting to go back in time when he was in the Speed Force, like going back in time. It did look a little off, especially during the later scenes when when younger Barry's trying to go back in time to save both Batman and Supergirl.
I especially noticed like when you see all the people, like all those, like those are obviously, it looks like those are actors just kind of recreated.
Duplicated.
Yeah, it's just, it looks really weird.
Right.
I mean, I think it might have been kind of the point, but I'm not sure.
I mean, I guess it would kind of make sense, but I mean, also it was kind of weird. I felt like also like like basically younger Barry, like as his like older, very older self, and whatever. I felt like he was kind of basically felt like. Don't you think it was kind of like forced into it, like Because I don't know why, because I mean he was literally kind of like forced into it, like he's here to like scare Barry, and then all of a sudden he has his little spiel, and then just like that he's gone.
Yeah. Okay, so we're running out of time, so
Better put a final statement on this.
Okay, so like real quick, the last thing I wanted to talk about, I try to save this till last. The cameos at the end.
I laughed at Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, like it was out of nowhere, but
that was legit good though. Like, cause he was originally gonna play Superman at one point, and then they ended up not doing it. He was gonna like fight a giant spider. They showed that.
And then they show Nicolas Cage, and then all I hear is just Andrew out of nowhere just freaking burst out laughing.
Yeah, I mean, the others though, I don't know.
Like Christopher Reeves kind of made me like,
yeah, like Chris. like, and George Reeves too in that black and white Superman. Like he plays Superman in like those old serials. He's also dead.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
I think really the only person who ain't dead, I think, was the Supergirl next to Christopher Reeves, and I was.
I mean, they still use CG to like make her look younger, but
You also
Right.
got Adam West.
that too, yeah.
Like Adam West, Brian. I was like, hey, look, Adam West.
Like
There he goes.
this is something else I noticed the internet's been talking about, just the fact that they CGI'd dead actors, and what for? Oh, just so the fans can go, hey, I recognize him.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of feels a bit insulting.
I feel like they put it in just for like a nostalgic purposes, but
Like it made me think back to like Rogue One. Like the guy who played Grand Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing, he also died a long time ago,
Yeah.
but they still use CGI to like paste his face over on the actor who played Tarkin in Rogue One.
right.
People were saying that was uncomfortable because like I still don't know why they just didn't use that actor.
Like it would be kind of interesting to like if they got lookalikes or something, like even if they like got people in costumes or something like that, like that probably could be better. But like the moment, or like they didn't even have to show Christopher Reeve's face. Like the moment you see that costume, like you instantly realize who it is.
Okay,
And
something else about that too. Brandon Ruth is right there, the guy who played Superman in Superman Returns, and they brought him back for like the Arrowverse and like Christ on Infinite Earths.
right.
They could have just used him. That's
But
what I'm
they-
thinking.
Oh yeah, Brandon Superman Returns is kind of like a continuation of the Christopher Reeve story.
It
isn't
is. So they could have just used Brandon Ruth. He's right there.
But I guess they were like, yeah, do we want to cast somebody or do we want to use CGI? Yeah, I guess CGI is the way to go nowadays.
CGI is cheaper.
Yeah, but wait, isn't that actor dead? Screw it, fans are gonna freak out. Like,
In the good way or the bad way? Who cares? They're gonna freak out anyway.
yeah,
Right. Which nobody did in the theater.
yeah, just
All we got was a giggle by Andrew when
it's like, so.
Nicolas Cage goes.
It's like
Okay.
okay. So I guess I didn't say my general thoughts. I guess I would say that I enjoyed the movie for the most part, but when it got to the ending, seeing all those dead actors, that's when it kind of killed it for me. I was just like,
They kind of like forced it in.
I guess it's like, why would you do that?
I can see what they're kind of going for. Like, oh, these different realities are basically doing the same thing. Like these
Right.
flashes from different realities are doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
they were kind of forcing it in. But
Yeah.
Did anyone else, real quick thing, did anyone think that younger Barry would become Reverse Flash?
Oh, I did think that.
Like the moment
it's like
telling like older Barry, like no one has to die. I was like, are they gonna make it Reverse Flash? Because that could be interesting. I mean, Thrawn in the comics had a had a history with Barry being a fan, and then just like being a very big, massive jerk.
right.
And so like I thought like this could be interesting, but just as quickly as the other Barry, the third Barry dies, he dies. So
yeah.
what's the dadgum point?
Yeah, guess not. Yeah.
Right.
Um.
Well, I don't know. I think probably this movie is probably at least like a 6 out of 10 movie. It wasn't. It was like it had its goods. It has its bads. I mean, it probably was like equal in terms of like Shazam. Wouldn't you kind of agree? Like it had the same kind of
No,
feeling or
Are you talking about the first or second Shazam?
second one.
Yeah, then I'd say yeah. Yeah.
Kind of had the same feeling. Like it wasn't great. It wasn't good, but has its moments. But there was moments in like those movies where you were like, why?
But you still have a good time, at
Yeah,
least.
Yeah, you still have a good time. You still have a good laugh. You still enjoy the moments that are in there. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
compared to other movies we've seen.
That's the same score I actually gave it, 6 out of 10. And just,
Yeah, I'd probably put it in the middle actually, 5 out of 10.
oh, really?
Yeah, like, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not good either. Like, especially following up on like Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
And
Like, especially like living up to that. Like so far, Marvel at least in terms of like their non MCU movies so far has set the bar high.
Yeah.
Plus-
just like the fact that this is coming a few weeks after Across Spider-Verse, like just like yeah, that movie's just like miles better.
yeah, not
Right.
just that though, but like the end credit scene was entirely pointless.
I just realized I said miles better.
dude, really?
I just realized that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if any of you have decided to like ignore the spoiler warning and stick to the end, don't stay in the theater until the end credit scene.
Oh.
It is entirely pointless. There is no point to it.
Literally, all it is just like a different version of Batman shows up, an F-bomb shows up, his tooth falls out from before, and then roll the IMAX thing, and well, or less whatever theater you go to.
He was referring to the Aquaman cameo at the end.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
But I mean,
And yeah, there was also that one too. Both kind of post credit scenes were kind of.
That wasn't a post credit scene.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was just a normal. I was like,
Yeah,
stupid.
And when George Clooney popped up. Yeah.
Wait, that was George Clooney?
Yeah, the guy in Batman and Robin.
I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
Huh.
Compared to some other people.
That's what I was thinking. Like I saw it, I was like, this guy? He literally apologizes for Batman and Robin a lot. And maybe they paid him a lot of money. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Plus, it
It's like,
possibly
who the f is this guy?
like it also could possibly lead to a good redemption for George Clooney as Batman. Like maybe
They could, but I'm not sure how much he's willing to actually do a Batman movie, considering how old he is.
Yeah, and how much he didn't like Batman and Robin. So I don't know. I think that was just like a joke they just threw in there.
yeah.
Like
Right.
All y'all gotta do is wait for until we get to hear who they're gonna cast as the new Batman and Superman.
yeah.
So long, Cavill and Affleck. We're gonna miss
Right.
you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So we're almost out of time, like less than a minute. So yeah, I guess that's all we have to say, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
And nice knowing you.